get out of here pretty quick. Thank everybody for coming. The monthly meeting for the city of Saltillo, August is now in session. We'll have the invocation, then we'll proceed with the meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we love you tonight. We thank you for another opportunity to represent our beautiful town. We ask for every decision to be made according to your perfect will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. I forget it was somebody here one time before they told us we were saying it wrong. Well, the Pledge of Allegiance, how they supposed to say it. I forget it, but I just can't relate back to it. I guess it's about like trying to say the ABCs without singing. You know? Okay, at this time we'll have the reading of the minutes by the city recorder.
The Saltillo Board of Aldermen met July 5th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the City Hall for the regular monthly meeting. The meeting was called to order by Mayor Lowry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Invocation was given by Alderman Wood. In attendance were Mayor Lowry and Alderman Billings, Maynard, Morgan, Reeves, and Wood. The minutes were read with a motion to approve from Alderman Maynard, second motion by Alderman Morgan. The minutes were approved as read. The mayor and board were provided with a copy of the expense and revenue report for June of 2022. Alderman Billings asked that a correction be made to the previous minutes stating that he acquired the fire hose for the dock would help install. Old business number 1, fire hose installation on boat dock. A motion to install a fire hose on the boat dock was made by Alderman Billings. Alderman Wood, Maynard, and Morgan voted to have the hose installed. Alderman Reeves voted no. The motion passed. Number 2, siren grant. The bid opening is scheduled for July 18th. Number 3, neglected properties. Chief Young will provide additional information during the August 2022 meeting. Number 4, street signs, tabled until the August 2022 meeting. Number 5, complaint forms. Mayor Lowry advised that complaints are being addressed upon receipt of the signed written forms. Number 6, fire chief sedan. The fire chief vehicle has been marked and is ready for use. New business. A motion to suspend the meeting with a continuance on July 14th was made by Alderman Billings, with a second motion by Alderman Maynard. The motion passed and the meeting was suspended until July 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. The Saltillo Board of Aldermen reconvened on July 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in City Hall. The meeting was called to order by Mayor Lowry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Invocation was given by Alderman Reeves. In attendance were Mayor Lowry and Alderman Billings, Maynard, Morgan, Reeves, and Wood. New business number 1, boat dock repairs. Alderman Maynard asked to provide an updated budget for repairs. Corners and fire hose, as well as replacing damaged boards, are the most pressing items. A general discussion ensued regarding needs. Further discussion is tabled until the August 2022 meeting. Number 2, banners for downtown area, tabled until August 2022 meeting. Number 3, budget. Ordinance 2022-05 was presented to the board amending the budget to include the tax rate in the budget language. Alderman Reeves made a motion to approve with a second by Alderman Wood. The motion passed with all aldermen voting yes. Number 4, street repairs. Alderman Reeves made a motion to approve payment for street repairs totaling $42,240. Alderman Morgan made a second motion. The motion passed with all aldermen voting yes. Upon completion of the regularly scheduled business, Mayor Lowry opened the floor to residents. Mr. Varga spoke to the board and advised it was imperative to add additional police officers to the list of things needed. Mayor Brewer advised that the Saltillo Senior Center would host the Sardis Senior Center on July 20th. With no additional business to discuss, a motion was made by Alderman Billings and seconded by Alderman Wood to adjourn the meeting. The motion carried and the meeting was adjourned by Mayor Lowry.
You've heard the reading of the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes as read?
I make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Reeves. Discussion. Okay, did we have a continuance on July the 14th or June the 14th?
I said July, but I think it was June.
Okay. So June the 14th, that's when we did the completion of the budget. Okay, are there any more discussion, corrections? If not, we vote to approve the minutes. Alderman Billings?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Maynard?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Let the minutes reflect that Alderman Wood is absent. Okay, so we're gonna,
I think she's running late. She'll be
Okay, we're going to try to make the meeting as short as possible tonight. We don't have a whole lot, but it's a lot I need to tell you about, I guess. Okay, so we did get a letter from the comptroller's office that the budget was approved. So it's been approved for 22 and 23 with no infractions. Okay, and then again, I'm gonna go over the old business first, and then I'll try to relate some of this old business, new business in a combination form. The fire hose installation on the boat dock, did we find out anything? Are we gonna do that, or what's the?
Yes, I gave, and I sent everybody a picture on their phones because I didn't have one made, but, of course, if you've been to the boat dock, if you've been to the ramp, or put your boat in, the handrails has done come apart, split.
Well, we're talking about the fire hose right now.
Okay, so I got a price on putting the fire hose in and new handrails, because the handrails have fallen down where they're
Okay.
rotten, so.
Okay, let's just stop right there then. So we're gonna come back, cause you say you got
Okay.
it in
Yes, I've got
combination
it all
form.
in
So-
one, yes.
Okay, so let's just go on down and we'll come back to that. I do have it on, new business for us to discuss. The siren grant, okay, with the siren grant, we did bid the sirens last week. And, the sirens, we had two bids. One was area-wide communications, $84,858. And Precision Communications, which is from Mississippi, which is a wheeling dealer, $64,437. Okay, after we left and we analyzed the bids, they found that on Precision, who received the bid, they had included new poles. And on the environmental that Southwest Development District proposed to ECD, the poles were not on the environmental. So the city had to reject that bid. And in a way, I think that's good too, because we found out that there are some other options with the siren system that, with the bid being as low as it is, that the grant that we could possibly have. For instance, talking with 911 Director David Alexander, once, when it goes to Hardin County 911, they set our sirens off. We can set them off here manually if necessary, but under normal conditions, 911 set them off. But with their system, if it's an imminent threat to Savannah, our sirens go off too, even though there's not an imminent danger for Saltillo. Same way with Saltillo, if it's a tornado fixing to hit Saltillo, when they set them off, it sets off Savannah. So Wheeling has a new system, and that's the system that ECD recommended we go with, because we already have the Wheeling system. They have a Lotus type system that can be installed at 911, and it would only interject whichever city or county that any part of the county, I'm talking about like Crump or Savannah, it wouldn't set them off, okay? So we're looking at that if ECD will approve it, because right now when they set them off, like I say, even though we ain't got a siren, if Savannah's going, we're 17, 20 miles away. If they got a danger, it'll set ours off. Also, they recommend that we go with the solar system. And what it is the sirens operate on a battery, and they prefer that you put the solar on the battery, and that way you don't have lightning strikes and stuff like that. And about every time we had problems with our sirens, first thing they said was a lightning strike, so that would eliminate that. So right now, we're having to rebid the sirens, which is gonna be 2 months more. It's gonna take to get approved through ECD. For one thing, is the pole on the side of the city hall, the big trucks, they're gonna have to come in to take the pole down to repair, to put new sirens up, they can't get to, okay? With the adjacent landowner, don't want us to use the property, so what they're trying to do now is get a new environmental where we can set the pole on this side of the building. That way they got access to it in case of an emergency, okay? So that's what we're looking at right now with the sirens, but the sirens are ongoing. If we do get blessed and get the Lotus system as well as the solar system for the sirens, the project will go up to about $91,000. And believe it or not, even though I think with the $116,000 that we had as a grant, we had a $16,000 match. If we still, regardless if it's $64,000 or $91,000, we still got a match. So if it's $91,000, our match would be $11,000. So we're still looking at that, but all of this hinges on the approval of ECD to approve the loader system as well as the solar panels for the siren and relocating the siren. Okay, do you have any discussion or questions on the siren? Okay, if not, then we're gonna move right along and, fire chief's not here tonight to answer on where we have neglected properties, although we do got 2 complaints, one from Ms. Diane Carter and one from a field and Meredith Holder, and it's pertaining to the Fran Bailey property, down at Shoreline Drive. And, I think that, we'll need to take up these complaints. I don't think it's an emergency to take it up right now, but we will acknowledge the complaint since we got it. I don't know, next time I need to try to get the fire chief here as far as the complaints about tall grass and campers sitting down there, but I think that what I'll do is have Anita give you guys a copy of the complaints, and you know when we do give you this, you do got copies of them, you gave me copies of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is the next city meeting, we'll have the fire chief here, and then we'll need to address these complaints, okay?
What will happen between now and the next meeting? Will the fire chief go
Nothing.
ahead and address those or not?
No. No, I'm not gonna push it. I mean, Miss Bailey's been there for years, and I understand the people's pain down there, but, we will address these complaints, and, we need the fire chief here. And then I think you guys, I think the rest of the board need time to maybe ride by, or to where you can kind of advise the fire chief as to how you wanna handle it as a board. So I think that'll give you a little time. Right now, you're just finding out who the complainees are and who filed the complaint, who is against.
I don't remember you asking us to drive by the one by Max.
Well, Ms. Garland,
You just-
I'm just telling you right now, I'm not gonna address Miss Bailey right now. I think everybody down there, Miss Bailey's been there since the 60s. Everybody else, when you bought property down there, she was already there, so you knew.
No, she didn't have all the trailers there.
I know,
She didn't have anything but her house.
I understand, but the
We
thing
were
about
there
it,
before her and all
let
that.
me say, this has been, I mean, we just not getting the complaints, and all of you been down there 20, 30 years. So
We just now initiated this complaint form.
Well, you're not on the complaint. Miss Diane Carter's not
I
here.
know it, but I'm
and
saying,
Mr.
as a
Holden.
city board, and as a city administration, we have just now, made these kind of complaint forms available. So people before just fussed to each other and whatever.
As the mayor, I'm not gonna address this complaint tonight. Board, if you would, I'd like for you to kinda drive by. Ms. Carlin, I think you and Ms. Mayor, I know y'all are discussing it, but y'all are part participants in the complaint, I think, so.
No, I did not, I had nothing, I did not know about this right here.
No, but in the past, you know, I've been complained to by everybody down there about Miss Bailey. So the thing about it is, I prefer it to be a board action. And I think that Alderman Billings, I think Alderman Morgan, I think Alderman Reeves should be able to, I mean, I wanna make it a board action. Kenny's not here, Miss Diane Carter's not here,
Is this the way, just so we understand, is this the way you're gonna approach any complaint form?
no,
Yeah,
that's the way.
or you gonna just,
that's the way-
you're gonna do it whichever way you want
I'm
to?
gonna do it whichever way I want to until I find out I'm wrong. If I'm not wrong, then I'm
Well,
wrong.
what's the use of the board then?
Well,
If it's your decision always, what's the use
why
of
is
the
it
board?
such a big issue about Miss Bailey here
I mean,
waiting
we're
30 days to?
it's not about Miss Bailey.
Yes, it is.
It's about the complaint form.
Yeah, but you ain't a part of it.
Sometimes we address it without a board action and sometimes we
You
don't.
are a part of the board. Now, Miss Diane Carter, hey,
We're asking.
it don't seem that it's a big
How are
problem.
you gonna address the?
No, it's not we, you asking.
I said, we're not talking about this. We're talking about how we've addressed them so far, opposed to, are you gonna treat everybody the same with their complaint form? It got immediate action.
I'm gonna do it as I see necessary as long as I'm within the legal bounds of the law, but.
So you
since
don't have to address everybody the same. Is that what you're saying?
I don't see why, every case is different.
No, I think everybody needs to follow the
Okay,
same
well, hey.
procedure.
I think y'all since you that way, I think you just after Miss Bailey myself. But I'm gonna put it like this, Mr. Billings, Alderman Billings, I'm gonna put it to the board. If y'all want to, I mean, it's just gonna take longer if you want to sit here longer. So if you want to address these complaints, I'm not gonna interject you. I prefer to table them because we got a lot of stuff to go over. But if you want to address these complaints tonight, then you've got a copy of them in front of you. So I don't have a problem with her addressing them because I'm not gonna make the decision anyway. It's gonna be between the board and the fire chief. So how do y'all want to move? Do you want to go ahead and discuss these complaints? I mean, Ms. Wood, I know you say you do, so
Well, no, I
what
would just
about
like,
the rest of you guys? Y'all want to address the complaints? If you do, we'll just address the complaint. Let me read the complaints.
can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You've put the complaints out here that we received, whether it's about whomever, okay, it's a complaint. So when we've been given a complaint, then the process I thought was that when we got a complaint, that if it was about the zoning or how things looked or whatever, or noise, just like with the red shed, that that we were acknowledged about it. We agreed that it should be looked into, and the policeman in that case looked into it. This case, it would be the fire chief, and then we requested that he follow through and come back with it. So I'm not saying that we have to vote on it tonight what we're going to do, but I think we need to acknowledge that if we want to pursue this or not, like you did the other ones.
Well, we didn't pursue
We didn't
the
even
little
have
red
to do
shed
all of
at
that.
one.
We didn't even have to do all that with
Well,
Max.
I
So it
think
depends
it's a
on who it
little,
is, I guess.
well, I think that's the way it is with you. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into an argument with you about this. I'm the mayor, and you are the board. So if the board wanna address these complaints tonight, then we'll address the complaints tonight. I didn't see where it was real immediate danger for 30 days for them to go down there and look to where they can make up a decision, how to evaluate and how to address the fire chief to go about the problem. But since it's so much of a big problem with the board, you said we, so maybe y'all discussed it, but if
No,
it's a
I
big
haven't
problem.
discussed it. I
Well,
haven't
you said
discussed
we
it.
instead of I.
Well, excuse
So,
me. You
but let's
use
not.
I a lot, I use we a lot.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
the thing of it is, we just want to have a procedure where if we get a complaint, do we address it when we get it at the next board meeting, or do we always postpone it for 30 days? We just wanna be clear as a
But
board.
You're not
as a-
speaking as the board.
I'm,
You're
as a
speaking for you.
person,
Okay.
okay, but I would like a clarification on how they're gonna be addressed, the complaints.
They're gonna
Are you
be-
gonna throw
they're
some of them
gonna-
away, or you,
They're
and
gonna
you're
be
gonna
addressed
decide?
on a case-by-case basis.
You decide on a case-by-case basis,
I'm
not the
mayor,
board.
ain't
What,
But I'm gonna present
you
it
have
to
a board,
y'all.
you have a board.
Ms. Carlin, I tell you what, I think when we get down to it, to where we're picking, but anyway, let's just go ahead and address the complaint, okay? So, board, we have a complaint with Miss Diane Carter. She's not here. She made the complaint. Thick, tall weeds
Who
over.
else made the same complaint?
If you'll let me let me read the complaints. I'm gonna allow y'all to address it, so we don't have to continue to order. Let's just address the complaint, and we'll move on with city business. We have a complaint with Miss Diane Carter, and the complaint is against Miss Fran Bailey, Shoreline Drive. Thick, tall weeds over duck head high with rusty miscellaneous items. Well, you guys read it right there, so let me open the floor for discussion. You got a complaint with Mr. Field and Miss Meredith Holder, and then you got one with Miss Diane Carter, and both of them against, one is Laverne Bailey and one is Fran Bailey, which is one and the same person. Okay, Alderman, so now the floor is open to the Alderman for discussion.
Well, I think it needs to be addressed.
I don't. These folks aren't even here. Kenny's not here, these folks aren't here.
Do you have to be, do we need to put in there if they form a complaint? The last complaint we had, the other people, everybody wasn't here the first time either. So we've just gotta be consistent on how we address
And
complaints.
I also feel like this is a slippery slope if we're gonna start dragging people in here over their yards, not being mowed.
Well, have you been down there?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's a good idea.
That's exactly
That's
why I
right.
wanted
Yeah,
the
that's a good
Alderman to
idea.
go and
That's a
take a
good
look
idea.
to where we could come back and address the complaint. But, okay, Alderman Warren, you have any discussion?
I would like to go down and look at everything that they've written down on this. I know there are some campers there. I don't know if they're ever used or just there. So if we could go see it, if we're gonna have to make a decision. I think
Well, now, the way
that's-
the reason I'm saying it's a little, I'm like, Alderman Reed, the reason it's slippery slope is because the campers was there before we established the planning commission. Is that not right? Her property is as is, right?
I don't know when you,
I mean,
when did
we
you
passed
start the planning, when did we start, when was the
2015,
zoning laws
But
written?
we had stated that if she unhooked or moved the trailer, she couldn't put it back on Shoreline Drive. I think that's
Then
the
it
way we
needs to
said
go.
it.
She's had two
She's
that
moved
she
it
unhooked.
five, she's moved one
But
5
see,
times.
listen, that's why I say, see, Miss Maynard, you live down there and Miss Wood live down there, and I think y'all are letting you, I think you're, as an alderman, if you got something in the horse in the race, I don't think, the other board members should be able to decide. Because I don't think she's gonna get a fair judgment with you guys. I
Oh,
really
so
don't.
wait just a minute, let's clarify.
Yeah.
Let's clarify. So if Max we were able to address Max's situation, and we addressed it because he wasn't on the board.
Who was that?
So you're punishing the people that are on the board. So we can't, you've already made that clear before, I think, in the behavior, the way things have gone, that if it's anywhere near a certain board members, that, we're not gonna do anything, because we don't wanna lean that way. But, Max, we didn't have this situation, so Max down here, where the house that was horrible, needed to be done away with or whatever, that we did first. Okay, none of the other parties weren't here for any of the meetings or anything, okay?
We didn't
So
have
you're
a
saying,
complaint. No, we
what you're
didn't have a
saying,
complaint. We didn't have
he
a
was
com-
here, he was here that's
Right.
before we had a forum.
Okay, so the board is up for discussion, so what do you wanna do?
We wanna treat everybody the same.
That's what we're doing.
No,
We're
we're
giving them
not, we're not.
We're giving them the ultimate opportunity to go and look at the property to where they can give an honest evaluation as to how the fire chief should approach the problem.
There's several issues there that even aren't covered on this. One of them being,
Let me just-
there's a hole probably 15 feet deep full of water that is supposed to be in, to set a septic tank in, that any kid can go off in, whatever.
And in order for you to see that hole, you have to be trespassing on her property because it's in the back. But I'm not gonna go there. Let's just get this, and I wanna be fair with everybody. I don't wanna be unfair. Alderman Billings, I'll go open the floor for discussion. I'm not talking to you because you're the first alderman on here. Do you want to pursue this tonight?
Well, I will tell you, in the absence of the fire chief, he hasn't told us whose house is and things he's looking at. He alluded last month that he's got some things in the works that he's dealing with, but he didn't want to air that out in front of everybody. So I would prefer that the fire chief review what is there. I don't know where he's at. He may already have something in the works, and I have no idea. But I think he needs to be engaged, to be here to address if this is an issue where he's already done it, and then I think he needs to do his part. That's what we're paying him for, to do his part of those kind of reviews for safety and danger and ordinance violations, so.
Well, Ms. Morgan, how do you want to proceed?
I agree with Greg.
Okay, and Ms. Maynard, of course, I don't know what we could do tonight anyway, be honest with you guys, Ms. Woods and Ms. Maynard, but I think that if the next meeting, if the alderman went out there and we got Kenny here, and if Ms. Carter and them want to be here, fine. If they ain't, then we'll still take up the complaint. But I think to take up the complaint tonight as a board, with the board not being familiar with the circumstances, I think that would be,
I agree.
Does-
We're just saying, treat people the same.
that's what we're doing.
Does Kenny have a copy of this already?
He does not. Y'all got a copy tonight. If he was here tonight, he'd have a copy,
Okay.
but he'll have a copy before the next meeting to where he can evaluate, where we can all be on one accord as to what
Well,
avenue
maybe
to
he can
take.
evaluate it and at the next meeting and have his information and be here at the next meeting and give us his opinions and views or what he thinks should happen.
A board,
If
you
these
just
have
keep
been
repeating
received-
what I'm saying.
If these were received this July 18th and July 20th, or thereabout, then is there a process that we follow of when Kenny gets them? When you get it, when a complaint comes into the city and it's in the middle of the month, do we just sit on it until the next meeting or until Kenny comes by, or what's the process for that?
It's presented to the board first. I prefer.
Before Kenny gets it?
Yes,
Okay.
because you're the ones gonna be able to tell him to proceed with this action. I'm not.
Well, if the complaint meets the zoning, things, why does the board need to say proceed when it is obvious it meets
Because
the
I
zoning?
prefer it to
thing?
be a board action, I prefer not to make the decision. I prefer that the
I'm
people
not
be a
saying-
lot madder at you five guys than to be mad at me. You see, so that's why.
Well, you.
But I'm gonna move on. I mean, now, I think that I'm taking appropriate action. I apologize to the board if you don't, but I think that 30 days is not gonna make a whole lot of difference. I think 30 days, Kenya will have these complaints. You guys got the complaints. We've got 3 board members that haven't been down there and looked at the area to see how they want to proceed. And within this 30-day period, that's what'll happen. I hope Alderman Reeves, Alderman Morgan, and Alderman Billings will go down there and look. And Kenny, I'll make sure he get the complaints. And he'll go down there and look. And at the next city meeting, we should be able to come to some kind of decision. So, being said, I'm gonna put this on the next city meeting, and the fire chief will have it. You guys have got it. The board members will be able to look at it. They'll be able to make a decision as to how they want to proceed. Once they go look at it, they might think that it's normal. Where a lot of people think that it's not normal for country living, so.
Well, this is,
I just don't know if there's a type of complaints we wanna handle though.
have you read the zoning thing? Have you read the rules for zoning that you adopted, back whenever?
Well,
If it meets if it doesn't meet the zoning things that was set up before I was on here, then why have zoning if you're not gonna follow through?
I'm just saying, that's why we've hired Kenny. This here says many years, this in here says eyesores.
But they
There's
never
a
had
2.5
a form
years.
but we just now got a form for them to complain. How can you punish, whether it's them or the Red Shed or on Dorothy Ann, how can you complain about people, it being about a process of being a eyesore or a problem or a noise problem for all this time, when you didn't even give them a form until, 3 months ago?
Well, Mac Van Eden, he's not, we're still addressing his because the lady wants to sell it, but let me say, and I'm gonna move on after this, but what action, Mr. Woods, do you think we can take tonight without the fire chief or without the other alderman preferring to vote on it?
I'm not asking for any action, I'm asking for clarification.
We're giving you clarification.
No, you haven't, we do not have a setup, way that we are handling these complaints, because every one of them have been different. The 3 we've had have been handled different.
That's case by case basis.
Well, no, when somebody says a complaint form, do they know that, well, mine may wait 2 months before they address, or mine may be addressed in the middle of next week? No.
I'm gonna move on. And
That's
if people
fine,
get
but
mad, I'm
don't
gonna move
ask.
on. If the next meeting, we'll try to address this. We're gonna move on. Neglected properties, Chief Young will provide additional information during the August 22 meeting. He's not here. Perhaps he's got this on his list, I don't know. And I thought he was gonna be here. He and I talked the other day. He said he'd be here, but he's not here. So there's nothing I can do about that. But he needs to be here. Okay.
Yeah, Mayor, that'll be September. I know you, just misspoke, but you said August meeting, but
September.
He
the
said
next
in
meeting
the
will
old
be September.
business.
He
That's right.
was reading the old business.
He was
Oh,
reading the
okay.
old business.
Yes, I was reading
But
over
the
there.
next meeting, September, he'll be.
Yeah, and then if you guys will go look, we should come to some kind of a conclusion as to what to do about the property or how to approach it. Okay, street signs, we're still dealing with that. And we're dealing with a lot of things, but we just growing pains. There's a lot of growing pains in the town right now because we're moving in so many different directions, and we're trying to take, we just got through with the street repairs, and we're dealing with the sirens, we're dealing with with trying to get ready for the festival down here. I mean, there's several things that's on the table that's just gonna take just a little bit of time to complete. Okay, complaint forms. Mayor Lowry advised the complaints are being addressed upon receipt of signed written forms. Okay, now, when I get the forms, I read them, but then we only have a board meeting once a month, so if it comes in the 15th of the month, then it's not likely gonna be addressed until the board meeting. So, I mean, that's just the way. We don't have meetings every day. People not here every day. I'm not gonna make the decision myself. I prefer it to be a board meeting, a board decision. So if it comes in the 8th or the 10th of the month, then it won't be addressed until the city board meeting. So I'll make sure you put that down, Anita, so about the complaint forms. They're gonna be handled by the board. And there'll be, once the board address it, then it'll be handed to the fire chief and as to what to do about it. All right, the boat dock. Now we're gonna get to the boat dock. Okay, so that's on new business. On the last new business, I got it on my new business. Ms. Maynard, you have the floor as far as your approach to the boat dock.
So, after the last meeting, when we went down there, I don't even remember what day it was, the handrails, going down on the right-hand side, which they were just rotten, poles rotten, and so they have crushed in on there, on that side, pretty much going down all the way on the right side, and even on that little, where you make a turn and then you take it down to the dock. So they're all pretty much rotten. I mean, I'll tell you my personal opinion, we haven't kept it up. So it's either it just goes or it don't, and it's kind of sort of, I don't know. I wonder in my heart if the money that we raised when we did the poker run, that money at one time went to the care of the Riverfront Park, and somewhere along the line, it stopped going to there.
Now hold it. The money we get on Poker Run or the money we get on Riverdale, anything goes to the park fund, and it's used to improve the city of Saltillo. We bought planters with it, we bought flowers with it. It didn't particularly go to Riverfront Park.
Okay. Well, I was
I
talking
don't know
about.
where you got that from.
Well, because prior alderman told me that money that was raised, what I'm talking about is the poker run that Stuart Grooms did last weekend. That money. I'm not talking about Riverdale money. I'm talking about that money, because the people that were there supported the town, supported the dock, supported that whole area down there, that money went to help take care of it. That's not here nor there.
There you
So-
go, help take care of it,
Okay.
not
So
particularly directly for it.
anyway, so, what is that guy's name? I can't, that I talked to that was working at Bucks. Rowdy. Came down here and I sent everybody a picture of the proposed handrails. He gave me a price for the handrails and the fire hose of $3,309.39. Now, I mean, I've been shot down on
Did you
everything
send that
so
to
far.
Darnell?
Yes, I showed it to Darnell, on them.
I did see it.
Yes, so, I mean, I think we need to keep it up. That's just my opinion. I know I use it probably, maybe more than anybody does down here, but I do think that somebody's gonna get hurt if you don't, because they're rotten and they're kind of like this. We've gotten a new dock since we've ever done anything with the handrails. They've just been able to maintain through the floods, the handrails have, because they're not movable.
I have been down there and I've seen the handrails, and there are rotten boards on it that's fallen. They are bad.
So that's my proposal, is what Rowdy gave me.
Okay, it's been proposed by Alderman Maynard about the to replace the handrails at the dock, and
And
put the
put the-
fire hose on, I believe, $3,300. So the floor is open for discussion.
We have the fire hose, I'm gonna say that, we have that. So that's no cost or anything.
So do we have a motion to spend, how much you said it was?
I make a motion that we, spend $3,309.39 to replace the handrails and put fire hose up at the.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Second by Alderman Morgan. We've had discussion. Alderman Billings will vote.
Yes.
Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
Alderman Maynard,
Yes.
Alderman Reeves,
No.
Alderman Wood.
Yes.
Okay. So 4-1, approved to do the boat dock, the
Thank you.
handrails, et cetera. Okay, now, second on the agenda is, we need to, Greg Billings has been appointed as the vice mayor for the city of Saltillo. A lot of times, sometimes I haven't been here to sign checks in an emergency situation. Before, Danny Mooney was put on the bank ledger to be able to sign checks in case I was absent or Benita was absent. It takes two people to sign the check. So, do we want to add him to the bank account? If we do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Reeves, do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Alderman Woods, at discussion. Okay, this is the sign checks in case one is absent. So Alderman Billings,
Yes.
well, you probably won't need to vote on
Abstain.
that. Abstain, thank you. All right, Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
Alderman Maynard,
Yes.
Alderman Reeves.
Yes.
Alderman Wood.
Yes.
Okay, let the minutes reflect that Alderman Billings was, voted to sign checks, and Alderman Billings, you'll need to take a copy of the minutes to People's Bank to be able to do that. I'll sign the minutes for Nita, so that'll be fine. Okay, the ordinance for the budget, so we went surpassed that. The street repairs have been done. We still got a couple of people that's kind of complaining about streets, corners and the culverts, so we'll address that. There's just two. I hadn't went and looked. I was supposed to look at one yesterday. I didn't get a chance, but to see what we can do with it.
Mayor, if I could speak to that real quick.
Okay.
So, this past week, and I guess the week before, I've seen many boats hit these corners, and they didn't run off in the ditch as much as they did before. Now, that was just personal observation, but it appears to have helped a lot of
Yes.
people who are challenged to make a corner.
Thank you. Good. That's a good thing. I think we got pretty much all our streets repaired, and we did on, I forget that, but Sally's house, what is that, we had gravel put on.
Yeah, that's haystack.
Haystack
Looks
Lane.
real good, people are happy that way.
And I went down through there, and believe it or not, when I went in there, my whole front end went out. I mean, the
Yeah.
water was up above my bumper, the hole was so deep, I like not to get out. But anyway, so all our streets look pretty good, and we just got a couple with the exception of that we need to do a little trimming on the side, and we'll address that. Okay, the sirens we spoke on, the poker run, we had the poker run this weekend. Stuart Grooms, I must compliment him. I think the Grooms family is some of the most talented fundraising people in Saltillo. He's done real well on the poker run. We had $2,950, sponsors $1,500. They gave away a smoker, $600, and the total project was on the shirt sales $160, but each person that got into the poker run got a free shirt. So, but anyway, the grand total was $5,210. Okay, the T-shirts was $1,700. So the balance on it to what I believe was $3,100. So that poker run turned out real good. Okay, the street repairs we're talking about, this river parking lot down there, it's been restriped. It was restriped by T-Dot for the simple fact that it is a state. We don't own that part. It's owned by the state, but TWA and Saltillo maintain it. So it was within legal ramifications for them to stripe it, and they did for us, and I thought that was a good thing. It looks good down there. Okay, the sign on the building, the welcome sign to Saltillo, that's an enhancement for Saltillo. Becky Carter is painting that. And a lot of people, I think, have stated that it was private property, but we do have a letter from the building owner that to give us permission to put it on side the building, just like Jackson do in other towns. And we did get a guarantee that it would stay there 5 years, and even if the building was sold, it would be put in the contract that they couldn't deface the sign. So does anybody have any discussion on that? Okay, electrical at the river for the barbecue festival. We was gonna put it on the center pole with the stop sign, met with Lexington Electric. They won't let us put it there, but what they're gonna do is assist us with getting electricity down there for the barbecue festival. They're gonna install a 50-foot pole on the tree line and allow us to put the electrical hardware on their pole. Actually, it's gotta go so high up, they're gonna send a bucket truck to help us mount the hardware to where we can get the electric for that. So I think that's gonna be a plus, and I hope that within the next 3 weeks we'll have that done. I told them we need to have it done by the first week of September, so they're gonna work with us on that. The fire truck here in the bay here that we had carburetor troubles out of, we finally found a man, Larry Spears, I believe his name. He lives at Savannah on Old Hardin Road. He's rebuilt the carburetor for us, and we're fixing to get it back installed. Even though the truck is a secondary truck, I still prefer that it runs, so we're gonna get that carburetor back on in the next week and get that truck. I don't know if it'll be back in service, but it'll be a secondary truck in case we need it. Okay, now one other thing is on the, I think Greg Billings, I think you had, I don't know how you want, if we want to table this on the banners. I did have it on there, and I think we tabled it for this month.
Okay, I could give you one comment, but we probably do need to table it. What was asked is our local business, Rivertown Tees, to give them a shot at doing this. He's had time to look at it. He thought he could do it. They do a lot of great things, t-shirts and all kind of stuff. This is a very specialty project, and he cannot do banners as what we wanted to do. He was gonna make us a sample, but he is simply unable to do the work. He let me know that just not long ago. And so we need to, at the next meeting, pursue the original avenue. He just can't do it. But he does other great things, but just can't do this one.
Okay. So let me make sure I've covered everything. Okay, so I think you all have a copy of the statement of revenues and expenditures. And of course, these here, it tells everything that goes through the city every month. You have a copy of that. I will go over the account balance of general fund. At this point, $155,902, fire $2,871, parks $3,967, river day $5,273, street aid $20,384, RPA funds $38,218, making the city balance funds $226,619.65. Does anybody have any discussion on the revenues and finances of the city?
That's good.
And no debt. No debt.
No debt.
No debt.
Come a long way.
Yeah, we
When we
did.
started.
We did. Okay, so does the board have anything they'd like to discuss before we adjourn the meeting? Nothing?
Any more complaints on the
Red
little
shed?
red shed?
We don't have any more complaints, but I did talk with Omi. I know when we had the beer board meeting, he told us that he would get a restaurant sign up there like he was supposed to, and I asked him, and he said that Alderman Reeves was aware of why he hadn't, that the guy was making it.
It's probably gonna be ready tomorrow or Friday. They
Yeah.
sent me the proof, so.
Okay.
It is ordered. He's ordered it.
Well,
Just waiting on those folks.
okay, but other than that, I have not had any complaints for the red shed. Okay.
I do know I was down there this weekend and they had unplugged the jukebox at the time, so I don't know if that was a permanent thing or they just, I don't know. But they are making some changes, lots of signs up down there
Well,
for
good.
different things, so they're trying, it looks like.
Okay, at this time, I'll ask the citizens of Saltillo if they have anything they like to input. May?
Yeah, up there at the center, you know, the women's restroom, one commode is out of order.
Well, what's wrong with it? You know?
It won't fill up, so I just turned it off where the water wouldn't keep running. The back, you know, the tank won't fill up.
Okay. I don't like those commodes, those flappers just don't hold that water in there much at all. We've done them once or twice, I think. Okay, we'll get Don Martin and look at that made for you. Is there anybody else that have anything? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a go ahead.
I make a motion.
All right, second?
I second.
Everybody ready to go.
We can't see it.